Greetings to everyone. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. Today, I will be presenting our vision for a sustainable green urban environment. Cities are our future. By the year 2050, 70% of the population will be living in one. Together, cities already consume more than 80% of the global material and energy resources. They also produce 75% of the carbon emissions. So, to tackle the problem, we have come up with an ideological sustainable city, Hirayat, which means longing. And we all know that people have been longing for such a city to come into existence. So, coming to a project, the criteria which we have chosen to analyze and then create a GRUEN are green growth, carbon footprint, energy efficient transportation, waste management, and renewable sources of energy. The basis on which we have been working upon the criteria, studying the criteria, analyzing the problem, and then finding the solution. Moving on to the first criteria, that is carbon footprint. Basically, a carbon footprint is the total greenhouse gas emission caused by an individual, event, organization, service, or product. So you can imagine how much it is caused by one person. An average carbon footprint for a person in the United States is 16 tons. It is one of the highest rates in the world. The increase in carbon emissions can cause a lot of complications, global warming, and ultimately climate change. Warming causes extreme weather events like tropical storms, wildfires, severe droughts, and heat waves. Rising levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will both hurt the crops and even help them. Carbon emissions directly affect humans too. Increase of smog and air pollution can cause respiratory diseases. Not to mention that if carbon emissions eradicate certain animal species, destroy crop yields and lands, humans will see the repercussions of these effects as well. The increase also helps in melting of the polar ice caps, which is a really big deal for us. In fact, half of the carbon dioxide emissions in 2018 came from burning petroleum fuels. Petroleum fuels are used for electricity and industry use, but transportation actually emits more carbon dioxide because it solely relies on petroleum. Transportation accounted for 28.9% for all greenhouse gas emissions in 2017 and in the US and constitutes everything from burning fossil fuels for cars, trucks, ships, trains, and even planes. Moving on to the solutions, we have some ideas and initiatives that will implement that we will implement in our city. First is the auto electric drive initiative. The time is not so far when electric cars are going to run all around the world. The cars are also being run nowadays, but one problem of many problems is that charging points and the efficiency of the cars. But to overcome this problem, in our city, we are going to use inductive charging, also known as wireless charging or cordless charging. It is a type of wireless power transfer. It uses electromagnetic induction to provide electricity to portable devices. These ports can be put in many places: a public parking lot, an office parking lot, and mainly in gas stations. A typical electric car, which has 60 kilowatt battery, takes just under 8 hours to charge empty to full, with a 7 kilowatt charging point. Most drivers top up charge rather than waiting for their battery to recharge from empty to full. For many electric cars, you can add up to 100 miles of range in 35 minutes with a 50 kilowatt rapid charger. So even if a person charges his car using an inductive port for 15 minutes, it will be enough for him to travel at least over 40 miles. These cars reduce carbon footprint, but they do not end it fully. So to do this, we will limit the number of cars a family can have, that is according to the numbers of the members in the family, and also put into motion another initiative, the Two-Tired Initiative. This initiative aims to motivate and help people in reducing carbon emissions by traveling through bikes. Bicycling could help cut carbon emissions from urban transportation by 11%. So for this initiative, we can tie up with private companies which make bikes and have them make a certain number of bikes. These bikes can be placed at different points that are hubs or an attraction. These bikes can be controlled through an app. So now people can move to one place from another using these bikes. We can implement a policy which says that every person who is healthy and is between the age of 13 to 60 has to travel through bikes for a distance of 5 to 6 kilometers. Anyone who is out of the age category may also do that if he wishes to do so. This policy can be gradually initiated by first allowing students to travel with bikes and then the office goers, and slowly and steadily everyone would be comfortable in traveling like this. Now let us move on to our next criteria, which is waste management. Waste management or waste disposal includes the activities and actions required to manage waste from its inception to its final disposal. This includes the collection, transport, treatment, and disposal of waste. Together with monitoring and regulation of the waste management process, major waste in the world is generated by paper and paperboard, food, plastic, metals, wood, textiles. The total generation of paper and paperboard was 67 million tons in 2017, which was 25% of the total MSW generation that year. The other main waste generated is plastic. We are producing 300 million tons of plastic every year, which is 50%, out of which 50% of it is used as single-time uses, and they're then dumped off. More than 8 million tons of plastic is dumped into oceans every year. So to reduce the usage of both paper and plastic in our city, we plan to take small initiatives which will help reduce their usage by a significant amount. For paper, instead of using wood pulp paper, we can substitute it with agricultural residues, for example, sugarcane, husk, and straw. The others are mentioned on the right side of the slide. For the implementation of this, we will start by replacing paper in middle school, as these children are able to adapt to change more easily, and then slowly and steadily, we can replace it in offices and administration, and thus someday completely stopping the use of paper. For plastic, we cannot fully replace plastic as it is used at so many places and there is no better replacement found for it yet. Although for some things, stainless steel, glass, and cloth can be used. In cafes and drive-thrus, we suggest that people should make one-time investments and purchase bottles, cups, etc., and then keep using it until they think it's unusable. In this way, we could reduce use of plastic and thus reduce its production, which in turn reduces carbon emission. Moving on to our next criteria, resources and renewable energy. Renewable energy is often termed as clean energy. It comes from natural sources or processes that are constantly replenished. There are many different types of renewable energies which can and need to be used for making a sustainable environment. Some of them are solar energy, wind energy, and hydro energy. There are others also, but we will be focusing on these as these are the ones which are most developed till yet and can be put into effect immediately. So for solar energy, we have solar panels as means to use solar energy. These panels can be planted in buildings, homes, etc. But we can all agree to the fact that these panels also need to be produced, and in the production, they produce carbon emissions. And the number of panels which will be required for only one city to convert into a solar city will be a lot. So to minimize the use of these panels, we have come up with a solution, which we will be implementing in our city. The Solar Bloom Initiative. For this initiative to work, we will have a policy in placement where each commercial building needs to have their own solar panels. These solar panels will power the whole building, but as we know, they will also generate extra energy. This extra energy can be stored through a grid system. This grid system will be connected to the residential areas, so there will be buying and selling of electricity. It is the same as we do now. There are electricity bills which we all receive for the amount of electricity we have used. The only difference will be that this energy will be coming from those solar panels which will be installed in commercial buildings. This way, we do not have to bring a radical change, but a small change in the lives of people and reduce the number of panels we use. Moving on to wind energy. Wind power or wind energy is used to provide the mechanical power through wind turbines to turn electric generators and traditionally to do other work like milling and pumping. This energy is another important factor towards moving to a sustainable city. This is one of the most developed systems in the sector of renewable energy. Usually, when we talk about wind energy, we have wind turbines in our minds. We all imagine hundreds of wind turbines placed in line to produce energy. But this is very time consuming and cost consuming. So to reduce, we will use a piece of technology which will change our mindsets about wind energy. The airborne wind turbines. These turbines do not work on the ground. Yes, you heard me right. These turbines work on higher altitude. Normally, wind turbines are 10 meters above ground level, but these turbines work over 300 meters above the ground level and thus give the double production than it does from normal turbines. So we can use less of these and produce more energy. Again, reducing the cost, increasing the efficiency, and decreasing the carbon emissions. This can thus be implemented into our city. Moving on to hydroelectricity. Not every city is going to be on a port or seashore, but definitely every city will have a drainage system and we can create energy out of it. We can do it by using whirlpool turbine, which is a device which was created by a turbulent hydro. It is a system which can be used in river, canals, and any area where water is moving with sufficient speed. This flow of water helps in the movement of the vortex, which generates electricity. This energy will work till the time the water is flowing. In our city, this can be implemented at any small area where there is even a small canal. This also leaves the fishes and sea animals unharmed. It is designed such that the fishes can pass through it. So these can also be put up in drainage systems and thus produce enough electricity to power the water management plants we will have in our city. Turbulent hydro currently produces models that can generate from 15 kilowatts to 100 kilowatts of power, depending on the scale of equipment. So with the sufficient number of whirlpool turbines installed, we can generate enough energy to power the waste and water management plants which we will be installing in our city. We all know these projects require a lot of capital, but if we take a look at the world situation, I would say it's worth it. For the implementation, we can work step by step. Not all cities need to be built from the bottom. They need to be refurbished. For this, every city can have a 4 or 5 block radius and then start implementing these ideas in that area itself. This area will basically be a R&D section where one can test out these ideas and see how well people are reacting to it. Moving on to our next criteria, we have energy efficient transportation system. So energy efficient transportation system is basically the useful travel distance of passengers, goods, or any type of load divided by the total energy put into transport proposition. So basically, energy efficient transport system is one of which consumes less of fuel and time for a person to travel from one place to another. Transportation accounted for 28.9% of all greenhouse gas emissions in 2017 in the US and constitutes everything from burning fossil fuels for cars, trucks, ships, trains, and even airplanes. Nowadays, everyone travels with cars or buses or whatever public transport a city has. These transportation systems take a lot of time and fuel, that is petroleum. In fact, half of the carbon dioxide emissions in 2018 came from burning petroleum fuels. Petroleum fuels are used for electricity and industrial use, but transportation actually emits more carbon dioxide because it solely relies on petroleum. So to minimize the use of petroleum and make the system efficient in our city, we will be promoting usage of a special kind of public train, the Innovia APM 300 Bombardier system. Fully driverless automated Innovia APM 300 Bombardier system is a monorail system which moves on battery and is charged using inductive charger. The tracks that it travels on are covered with inductive charging plates. This system will be connected all over the city and can be accessed by anyone at a very low price. It is designed to carry up to 43,000 passengers per hour per direction, and it speeds up to 80 km per hour, thus reducing traffic on the roads and allowing people to reach the destination more quickly. The train moves and stops a lot of times. The energy which it creates while doing that can be stored. Yes, it can be stored by using efficient wayside energy storage system. The new Bombardier Energy Store, a wayside energy storage system, is based on supercapacitor technology, which captures and stores energy. It allows us to accomplish recover braking energy flow and level power flow. Thus, this project can successfully store and save the energy. Seeing that the time is almost up, I would like to summarize on what I have spoken about. Our planet needs our help, and we cannot just sit back and wait for someone else to act on it. So we have compiled these ideas and we plan to take them forward and see them being implemented in real life. We would like more cities like Harayat to start coming up in the world, and we hope that these ideas can be really possible. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. So, being optimistic that we can and we will see a day where the world is sustainable, I would like to conclude my presentation. I thank all the judges for hearing out what I have to say and giving me the opportunity to do so. Thank you.